wear my hair down to my back, or I cut a bob and do it into single plaits. And if it's the summertime, maybe do a weave. Always change my style depending where my head is at. Sometimes I wear my V-neck real low. If I'm feeling sexy, then expect some skin will show.
Hello, welcome to Two Mad Beans Podcast. A new week, a new episode. And finally, one major topic that I have always wished to talk about, astrology, is on today. Today we're about to talk about astrology. And today the astrology I'm about to talk about is more connected to psychology. So our topic today is astrology, a core in psychology. I've always wondered, I've asked questions, I've read. I'm a Leo. I was born in July. And Leos have some characteristics. There are other signs also with different characteristics. And I've always wondered if these things really work. So, God being so good, I have a friend, Narah Pacem, who is an astute astrologist. So let me read something about Narah. Narah has been practicing astrology since 1993. So over 15 years, she has applied astrology in helping people spiritually to overcome their challenges and all that. And today, she's not in Ghana, she's in the US. But because of technology, we are able to communicate. So today, Narah Pacem is our guest on this show. Is astrology a core in psychology? Yeah, so Abna is my co-host. I'm Kojo. This is Two Mad Beans Podcast. So let's start the whole discussion. So Narah, welcome to the show. And the first question is, what is astrology?
Astrology is the study of the sun, the moon, and the planetary alignment's influence on human behavior and global events. Also, astrology is defined as the belief that planetary alignments have an effect on human behavior, but this is inaccurate. Astrology is the study of predictable patterns and their influence, not a belief.
Okay, so Narah, myself, Kojo, and everyone else listening want to know, what is the basis of astrology?
The basis of astrology dates back over 2,000 years before the turn of the first century. The first organized system is thought to be Babylonian calendar system, and it was used to predict seasonal shifts. Those celestial cycles were considered divine communication. Astrology was also the driving force behind the development of astronomy and other fields of science during the scientific revolution. But towards the end of the 17th century, astrology had lost its academic standing and became regarded as pseudoscience. Once concepts in astronomy, such as heliocentrism, emerged, it further lost credibility when many of its predictions on global events were without basis.
Narah, so what are some misconceptions people have about astrology?
The biggest misconception is sun sign astrology. This would be the horoscopes you read in the newspaper and magazines. This form of astrology is based on an individual's birth date and nothing more. While understanding the sun sign is an important aspect of astrology, it should never be used for the purpose of predicting how an individual's life may be impacted. It is also a misconception that an individual sun sign makes up the whole of a person. The sun sign is only a fraction of an individual's astrological makeup. Another misconception is that astrology can be used to predict global events or even particular events in an individual's life. The fact that astrology has been and is still being used for this purpose comes at a cost to the astrology's credibility. The only prediction that can be taken into account should be no more than what a proven past cycle can dictate. The lack of proof has kept astrology from moving forward. Also, a misconception is the idea that an individual's astrological makeup somehow chiseled in stone. Astrology should be used as a navigational tool, at best, for better understanding ourselves and others.
Well, this is actually very, very interesting. And I think everyone else listening agree with me that it's very intuitive, and yeah, we are really learning a lot. So I wanted to ask you, what exactly is astropsychology?
Astropsychology, put simply, is a synchronicity of astrology and psychology. It is both a likely personality prediction of an individual and a diagnostic tool for underlying areas of distress.
What is the origin of psychological astrology?
Astropsychology's origins and its basis date back to the early and mid-1900s to a Swiss psychologist named Carl Jung. He was greatly influenced by Sigmund Freud's theory on the conscious and unconscious mind of humans. And then he created what is known as the 12 archetypes of the human conscious, or the cultural symbols and images that exist in the collective unconscious. These 12 archetypes are defined as the everyman, the hero, the outlaw, the explorer, the creator, the ruler, the magician, the lover, the caregiver, the gesturer, and the sage. These were further broken down into 4 major archetypes described as the self, the persona, the shadow, the mask, that was theorized as what we present to the outside world to conceal the real self. Astropsychology focuses on psychology and the integration of the birth chart, supporting the human potential for growth and change.
All right, Narah. So, our next question, how beneficial is astrology to human behavioral studies?
Astrology is beneficial in so many ways when it is applied correctly. For example, if within a birth chart there is strong indication that the person is by nature an introvert, and it is imperative to their success that they become more extroverted, then within the chart itself, one can find ways to help build that person, to help them become more comfortable, to find the extroverted aspects of their chart that they can build on. Now, anytime someone has the ability or given the opportunity to build on characteristics of themselves or to overcome characteristics of themselves, I feel that it's a benefit, always a benefit, and always a gift. But again, it has to be applied correctly, and it has to be received correctly.
So this one is very important to me. Can astrology have a scientific proof per its spiritual proof?
Is astrology an art or a science? The structure of astrology is purely science. Taking into consideration the decades of sound data collected up to this point, I would say 75% of interpreting an astrological chart, once calculated, is based from scientific observation. When we talk about the art or spiritual aspect of astrology, we refer to the intuition most astrologers commonly practice while interpreting an astrological chart. There is nothing wrong in this practice. However, relying too much in a spiritual sense has greatly hindered the scientific advancement of astrology. Now, I am not an astrologer that practices intuition. I rarely cast natal charts, but when I do, I only state the probable scenarios according to data collected. I then allow the individual to determine what resonates and what does not. To have a spiritual gift of intuition is a huge responsibility, because more often a person will not question what a spiritual advisor tells them about themselves. Then to have a 2,000-year-old science solidify what the advisor is saying is very dangerous. Too many times in my 25 years of practice, I have seen spiritualists bend the science of astrology to fit their intuitive conclusions. And when this happens, astrology and its science is discredited.
Well, this conversation, I must say, is very, very exciting, and I'm quite psyched, and I love what I'm hearing, and yeah, I do. So, Narah, our next question: why is it that when astrology predicts the character traits of a human being, sometimes the person turns out different from his or her predictions? Why is that? What makes that happen? Like, what happens there? It's a very interesting thing to think about, don't you think?
The reason why a being sometimes turns out different than the astrology predicts, too often the character trait predictions are applied using very limited amount of information, like the sun sign character trait predictions, where all one needs is the birthday. So more often than not, the sun sign character trait predictions are not going to manifest or resonate. Now, if you're asking, for example, how two people with the same birth time, birthplace, and birthday can turn out very differently in personality, it is simply that astrology and how it applies to one person rarely applies to the other, because the two individuals do not have the same brain chemicals. They are not identical in their life experiences or their genetic makeup. This goes back to the misuse of astrology as an absolute rather than the navigational tool it is meant to be. Someone's psyche and personality traits are made up of many different things, not just one. Therefore, astrology can never make up the whole of an individual as if written in stone. So it is also safe to say that the best one can hope for is a likely character trait prediction, as you say, but a being's life events coupled with genetic and environment makeup is a huge factor. These are what makes or breaks an individual's character.
Interesting. When one finds out he or she isn't astrologically compatible with their partner, is it 100% proving the relationship will fail?
There is absolutely no validity to this concept. This is another misuse and total misconception regarding the application of astrology. Applying astrology to partnership compatibility, whether it be business partnership or personal relationships, is only a tool for better communication. It gives us a little more insight to one another, but never should it be used as a pass or fail in a relationship.
Thank you so much for everything you've shared. So finally, if we are not equipped with the knowledge of astrology, does that undermine our physical or spiritual success? I don't know if I should take that again. If we not being equipped with knowledge of astrology, does that undermine one's physical and spiritual success? Do you think it undermines my spiritual success? Because I think I'm really curious about that, and I'd like it very much if I get to know where I stand with that, if you don't mind.
Absolutely not. It does not undermine the success of a person physically or spiritually. An individual having astrological knowledge can benefit them spiritually and physically to have a better understanding of themselves and others they interact with. It can absolutely benefit them. But not having the knowledge will not undermine that success.
It's been great having you on our show. One of the most interesting conversations we have had this year. God bless you for coming on the show. What are your closing remarks, Narah?
Closing remarks, I would just like to say thank you so much for this opportunity. Tell you how much we enjoy listening to your podcast. We enjoy the subjects that you broach. And wish everybody well, happiness, and health.
Hey guys, same time next week. Definitely bring another new topic. Today we had Narah Pacem on the show. I'm excited. I've learned a lot. And I know you also learned one or two things from this. Bye.
Show. Maybe wear a turtleneck if I'm feeling cold. My dressing is expression, so don't judge me by my clothes. Some days I roll up in a hood and a trackie. Turning up your nose, cause you think I look tacky. I go to a Michelin meal in my Reebok. Ain't gotta wear my words and be flashy. A short skirt doesn't mean that I want it. My appearance doesn't represent my wallet. This is for the ignorant ones with opinions. Keep your 2 cents inside your pocket. I'm just doing me.